The Master Tavern Keeper's History of the Old World. And so it was that the dwarves Snorri Stonebreaker and Strolvarr claimed the body of Skaladrak from the feathered and bloody scavengers of the Darklands that had been feasting upon it, meaning that, at last, Strolvarr could begin to fulfill the promises he'd made his dying father, the dragon slayer Thorin the Crazed, the dwarf that had finally felled the dragon. Oh, yeah. It does feel like that was some time ago that you told us about that bit, Master Tavern Keeper. Forgive me, but could you remind me of what he promised again, please? Och, are you joking? That's the crux of this tale. I don't think it's the time that's addled your memory, dear Heinrich. I think it's the rum. Even I can remember what Strolvarr promised his da. Go to the Plane of Bones, find Skaladrak's skull, recover the large chunk of his da's axe that he left in it, take a tooth from the skull to the new king of Carrick-Cadron to prove that he'd found the body, and then take another to his dad Joe. His grandpapa, as you say. The one who lived in that, Yes. I think you mean Cracker Omsmotek, Master Alchemist. Yes, that was it. That place, wherever that is. And then he had to return the two parts of the broken axe to him. His dad Joe, his grandpapa. Yes. And it's in Norska, by the way. Well remembered, Cedric. Those indeed were the aims of Strolvarr's quest. And so, what happened next on the Plane of Bones, Master Tavern Keeper? Well, Strolvarr told me the following as we drank together back in Skeggi. The port of Skeggi, 1553.
Once after the battle with the blood vultures, before we did anything else, we grabbed ourselves handfuls and handfuls of that hot, multicolored sun that they have on the plain there, and used it to scrub off as much of the bird gore that we were caked in as we could. And horrible stuff it was as well. I don't know about you, Manlin, but there's nothing worse than being all sticky.
I don't know about that. There are certain moments when it can be very nice indeed. But I think I understand what you're saying. Slipping and sliding about in avian blood, guts, and hacked up feathers is not my idea of a good time either.
Aye. Once with the worst of the filth off us, we obviously went straight to the head of Skaladrak. Over the intervening 4 months between the felling of the great dragon by my father, the dragon's flight to die on the Plane of Bones, and the day Snorri and I found Skaladrak, the scavengers of the Darklands had worked hard, but it looked like they only recently had been able to feast well.
What do you mean, Strolvarr?
It is no easy thing to feast on the flesh of a dragon. Many of its scales are as hard as Gromlil, especially those most exposed to the elements, those on its back and skull being the hardest. There are probably few, if any, scavengers whose teeth can tear through those. The softer, younger scales on the dragon's underside are a different matter though. But Skaladrak must have taken his last breath on his belly, and thus denied those that wished to feed upon him any easy ingress. The drake probably lay pretty much undisturbed for at least a month and a half until the elements, the cooking heat, the blinding light, and grinding winds and sands weakened its skin enough to start attracting those that forage amongst the dead to even attempt to crack open his flesh. Still, by the time that we'd arrived, they'd hollowed out the dragon's torso and abdomen, leaving only its rock-hard bones draped in its scaled, leathery hide. Skaladraks were not the only bones in the vicinity. I spotted the remains of dead wolves, goblins, and even some ghouls. Devotees of that ancient dragon god of the dark lands herself, Omdra the Dread. At least, judging by the symbols carved into the bone pendants that still clung to their own desiccated skeletons. You'll remember that we spoke about her a couple of months back.
But just a moment, Master Tavern Keeper. We have not spoken about the dragon, Omdra the Dread. Indeed, we have not, although I did hear the tale from Strolvarr back in Skeggy. But, my dear noble knight, before you go any further, you cannot in one breath lambast our dear alchemist here for trying to take us up on tangents, and then attempt to do the same yourself. If you wish, I will circle back to the tale of Omdra later, much later. I will not be thrusting its slipshod into the weave and weft of our conversation right here, though. But of course, Master Tavern Keeper, forgive my interruption. I was not thinking. Think not of it. Like you, the fire of curiosity in my own breast burns brightly. But you were right earlier to try and keep us on the straight and narrow in our conversation. Heinrich, are you all right? You seem a little wobbly. Are you sure you've not hit the rum a little bit too hard? I'll tell you what, why don't you try one of these, health potions? I think that might help. Oh, I think I second that too. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, do not mind me if I do. Good. Now, let us continue from where we left off.
Once the tough skull of Skaladrak was all but intact. I quickly made my way onto its snout from where I could clearly see the large chunk that had broken off my father's axe, still embedded in and prominently protruding from the dead dragon's temple.
The Plain of Bones, 1471.
Now that's not gonna be easy to get out. Beardlin, we'll see about that. By valiant braids, you're right. It won't budge a whisker's breadth. You need to think ahead, Grumbacker. Have yourself some solutions to potential problems before they arise. Here, let's try this. Something I brought from the workshops of Karak Kadrin. And once more he took out a glass vial from his belongings, uncorked it, and poured its contents around where the axe blade shard was stuck. At first, nothing happened, but very quickly, I watched as the surrounding bone and scale began to melt away, turning into a crimson-lit flame from which billowed corrosive smoke, freeing the blade. I immediately reached out for it. "Stop! Weirdling! Don't touch it, not yet! Not unless you want to lose your hand. Here, pour this on it first. It'll neutralize the alkahadi I just gave you." "The what? And what is this now?" "The engineers call it Azid. I'll teach you all about it on the journey home. For now, just trust me and pour it over the broken blade." And I did, slowly. It fizzed and bubbled, but calmed the red fury of the first liquid until the smoke and flames died away and it became as water. "There! Take it! Take the blade! Take it quickly!" "Good. Now, show me your father's axe. Show me that it fits." And so I unbound my father's broken axe that had been carrying around and took it out of its wrappings. The dry blood of Skaladrak still clinging to it. I pressed the missing half of the blade to where the axe had been snapped in two. It was a perfect match. "Good. That'll be enough to prove to the new young King Ungrim that we did indeed discover the dead body of Skaladrak. Why don't we take some teeth and whatever gems and jewels of note we can carry from those that still remain in the torso to him too? You may be able to avoid his fury if you do that. He needs to know, but I cannot guarantee his reaction. He is a fiery sort and is known for neither his mercy nor his understanding, but we are obligated to inform him." And so, manling, try we did with young King Ungrim Blackheart. And once more did my life irrevocably change.